Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whiskey. My name's Vin PF, and on today's episode I've got a big old sample Saturday for you. This one here is a Macaloney's Canadian whiskey sample pack. Now, I'm going to go through each one by one. I haven't actually opened these or tried these at all because I wanted my first experience of them to be your first experience of them. And there's a reason for that, because I've been sent this pack for free by the guys over at Barrel and Brand. They are working with this Canadian distillery to be their importer, basically, but they've got this option to, bottle your own whiskey, which is always something that I'm interested in. So I've got this as a kind of like an overview about what they do, to see the different flavour profiles and see what I might like to do in the future, if there's any particular ones that interest me. So yeah, usually on these videos, what I started doing is not cracking the bottles open, but I'm going to do that today because I want my first experience to be your first experience. I'll go through each one and we'll see what we've got. I've got these wee little samples here. There's 5 of them, and the set actually available in the UK through the guys I just talked about there. I'll drop a link below. It's 30 quid. So if at any point you wanted to stop and buy that and taste along with me, you can do. Feel free to come back to it. Or, watch it and then watch it again. Always helps. So yeah, the first one then, we've got Macaloney's Single Malt Whiskey Canadian. Now, so here's something I could have asked. A few of these say Single Malt Whiskey Canadian, and then some of them say Canadian with an A. Ireland Triple Distilled, that one is. This one here is a Canadian Single Malt. This one here is a Single Malt Canadian. And then the last one is a peated Canadian. I did a little bit of research on that, and the only thing I could think of was it's some kind of French influence. A Canadian versus a Canadian is a kind of French Canadian, but whatever. Someone below will be able to tell me different. The first one then, should have told you that before I opened this. This is the Anne Loy, which is single malt, as I said. 46%. All of these are non-chill filtered, no added colour. All of these are 46%. This comes from the Whiskey Maker's signature expression, and this one has a mixture of. It says Kentucky bourbon. Don't know exactly what if that means, like, if it's first fill or whatever. Who knows? Spanish Oloroso, Portuguese red wine, and Spanish Pedro Jimenez casks. So that's a lot of sherry. You know me, I'm not typically a sherry guy, but I'm open to seeing what we got. Let's pour a healthy amount in there. Save some for later, when I do my proper assessment on these. Yeah, as always, Sample Saturday videos are me, first impressions. Let's get it. I mean, as I said, all these are natural colours. Look at that. That's beautiful, that, isn't it? Look at it. It's almost like you can just about see a little bit of rose gold in there, along with some deep honeys and deep treacles. Wow, okay. I mean, that's fruity. I'm getting lots of fruity treacle, like one of those Jamaica ginger cakes almost. You know what I like to do? I like to have a little sip and then come back. Oh, damn. There it is. I'll cut back in. Okay. Right. So yeah, on the nose, actually, I think I nailed it on that. Jamaica ginger cake. Bags of deep dark sherryness. It's not quite in this kind of sherry bomb vein, but I mean the sherry influence is just rife on this. And I don't mind it, usually I'm not a sherry kind of guy, but that's a good nose. Okay, let's go back to the palate. Initially very sweet. Sometimes you get kind of dried fruits, but the sweetness on this is kind of like dates and figs. All that ginger has disappeared from the nose now. A big bunch of nuttiness comes in at the back. On the first sip, I thought I got a hint of sulphur, but I don't now. So I think that might have just been me acclimatising to it. Good start, right? I mean, I don't like sherry, but, that's just fine. That's good. I like it. Yeah, I don't know how much any of these retail for. Again, Sample Saturday videos aren't exactly the most researched, but that's the whole point, right? That's what the main reviews are for. Okay. Now, like I said, these guys are doing loads of different styles, so I imagine they've got some good options going. So the second one then is they've all got kind of fancy names. I guess they mean something. Kildara, Canadian Island Triple Distilled Pot Still Whiskey. So I guess they're doing that whole, unmalted barley thing that they do. I have to admit, I'm not that clued up on that sort of thing. I don't really cover much Irish whiskey. This is nearly the same, actually. Kentucky Bourbon, Spanish Oloroso, Virgin American, interesting, and some Spanish PX casks. I'm down. Let's tippy. Obviously, again, I know that I should be leaving these in the glass to air out a little bit, blah, 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 but I didn't. A good whiskey should be able to withstand an immediate tasting from it. I mean, look, excuse the rubbish glass, but look at that. That's a beautiful colour, that is. Okay, interesting. Now, I find Triple Distill, again, it's not a flavour profile that I vibe with, which is why I don't really cover much Irish whiskey. I find that third distillation tends to strip out all the things I like, that kind of like, the heavy oils, esters, whatever you want to call them. I'm no scientist, but they've definitely got a similar whiff about them, I think. It's a little bit grainy, almost, like this really does smell like an aged grain whiskey, Let's do the thing where I do the palate and then the nose again. Interesting. There's a lot going on there. I mean, this is literally where my brain starts going, is it that? Is it that? I think I get that, but I'm not sure. I'm getting that mixed in with that. I can tell you I like it, but at the moment I don't know why. Let's go back to the nose. It's got a very tannic nose. Heaps of wood. That kind of, I guess the virgin oak has kind of really done some heavy lifting in here. But it's not over oaked, so that's an important distinction. The sherry influence is a little bit more diminished than the previous one. It's not as juicy, it's much drier. Back to the palate. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. It's good, I like it. I could drink a lot of that. And I feel like it'd be one of those ones that I get something different out of every single time. It's not challenging though. Sometimes I talk about a challenging whiskey. Very easy drinking. Very rich. It's not... So, okay. If you think about those little diagrams where they have little, the tasting diagrams that I use. In fact, I could just show you one. That'd just be easier rather than trying to point it out. Like here, these things here. You can see how they have one or two defining tasting notes that really spike out. I feel like this is one of those ones where it wouldn't really have one of those. There's no spike to the 5th degree of any of it, but it's all sitting around 3 minus smoke. There's no smoke in this, but it's tannic, it's leafy, it's sweet, it's cereally, it's all of those things at mid-level, all married quite nicely together to the point where, like an orchestra, if I use that quite a lot apparently these days, where if you close your eyes, you can probably just about hear the whole thing happening together. But if you really focus on one section or another, you can pick out more easily what they're doing. I think that's it. Although, bad analogy, because I am struggling to pick out individual bits of that. Anyway, I like it. Not as much as the first one, though. Okay, moving on then. I'm doing this in the order that was suggested on the website, by the way, so don't come at me. This one here is a Cathnavan. Oven. The bottles, the actual bottles themselves don't look anything like this, by the way. They're all kind of like rounded. So yeah, if you keep a look out for that. This is a Canadian Island single malt whiskey, Oven, and this one is Spanish Oloroso and PX. So let's just have at it. This one worries me, because this is not, you know, if I had carte blanche and I had all these 5 bottles in front of me full size, and I said I could buy any of them, but only these. I can't save the money. I have to buy one of them. This would be probably the last one that I would pick blind, truth be told. So hopefully I'm going in, you know, with an open mind, but we'll see. I mean, look at the colour on it though. Good lord. Okay. I mean, again, unfair to pick on the nose because I've only just poured it into the glass. It hasn't had a chance to do its thing. But I mean, it's typical sherry. It smells nice. It's got a little bit of polish to it with some juicy fruits. I'm not sure of the percentages on this, but for me, I reckon there's more Oloroso than PX in this. You'd expect so though, right? Because PX would probably end up overtaking it at some point. Let's try palate. Not even an iota of sulphur. And you know what? It's half and half that has. So the PX and the sherry. The PX was all up front. Sweet, bold. And then once my palate got used to that sweetness, that kind of dry Oloroso element came out of it. Back to the nose. Yeah, it's starting to come alive now. It's big, bold. I mean, where I said the first one was definitely not a sherry bomb, this is getting on for that sherry bomb vibe. So if that's you, I mean, it's rich, tannic, fruity. Oh my god. You know what? This is like... Okay, I'm going to say something. This is the first thing that popped into my head, and I'm going to say it because it's true. This is like the Ryan Reynolds of whiskey. I'm a straight guy, but if there was ever somebody who could turn me, it'd be Ryan Reynolds. And this whiskey, I don't like sherried whiskies, but this is making me question everything. Do I need to start going down the sherry rabbit hole again? Because I've avoided it for years, really. I'll try it if it's out, but I don't buy it, ever. But that's beautiful. Oh, I can't believe I like that. That's mental. Yeah, genuinely changed everything. Okay, well, let's not get hung up. Next one then. So this one's going slightly differently. Single malt whiskey, Canadian again. This is the St. Millie from the single cask series. Nice purple looking thing. Here we have Portuguese recharred red wine STR Barrique. I do like STR. Single cask. So let's see what this has done. Again, 46%. This is a good little set. I think, you know, what we talking there? 200ml for 30 quid. So, yeah, obviously compared to a full-size bottle, it's expensive. But in the UK, to be able to try some... Right, I'm going to say it now while I'm waiting for this. Canadian whiskey, very hard to get hold of in the UK for a good price. And you could be stopped in your tracks for thinking that Canadian whiskey was bad, because the stuff we do get over here is not that great, you know, like Crown Royal, whatever. It's pretty trashy. Although, you know, so it's not, okay, fair, it's not bad whiskey, but over here we pay so much money for it. However, in my time doing whiskey reviews, I've been lucky enough to get hold of some really good Canadian whiskey, and they keep it for themselves, you know. I mean, quite rightly as well, you know. If we made whiskey like that, I mean, obviously Scotland makes so much whiskey that it can send it everywhere. And England's the same, to be fair. We are trying to ship it abroad, so we're not actually hoarding it. But yeah, the best stuff tends to get sold out really quickly. And that's probably what's happening over there. Although they've got some big old distilleries. But the fact that we can even get this set is already pretty good. Okay, so what did I say this was? The STR. I can't believe I forgot all that already. So, again, another nice coloured whiskey. This is, we're being treated here. We're being treated for sure. Oh man, I mean, that is totally different to the other three so far. Obviously, we've had quite a lot of sherry influence so far. That is... Oh, there's a weird thing going on there. I don't know what I'm getting. It's juicy and fruity, but there's a nuttiness to it. It's almost like... I tell you the reason I'm struggling with it is because I don't smell it on whiskey very often. But it's like, so obviously you get kind of all different kinds of nuts, right? And you usually buy them in the bags where they've been, like, de-shelled, and sometimes even, the skin's taken off. When I was little, my nan used to buy peanuts in, as they come, the big, with the shell on it, right? And we would crack that open, and that would create a kind of almost like a dust as you cracked it. And it's that peanut shell dust. There's a little bit of that in it. Not much. It's just something that's kind of like, it happens every now and again when you connect to synapse or whatever, and you just back to the past. Right, let's try on the palate. Oh man, I mean, that's considering they're all the same ABV, that is thick and luxurious. That is. That tastes way higher than 46%. I say way, probably like, 50, 52, that sort of thing. It's got that kind of peppery spice, that zing to it, that oiliness that comes from extra ABV. I mean, this has got STR cask written all over it. So yeah, I know there's a few people in my community that aren't big wine cask finishes. This definitely isn't for you, but it is for me. Do you know what? This is an impossible choice about which one I like best. I can't even think about it now. Hopefully it's going to be the next one. We'll see. That was lovely. Actually, I will say that wasn't my favourite so far, but it certainly wasn't my least favourite. But even if it was, we're talking about 7s and 8s out of 10s, I think, on these. Oh, again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So this one here is a single malt peated. It says 27 ppm on here, although the website says 54 ppm. So I'm going to assume that the 54 is the pre-distillation, and this is whatever, but I don't know. It's fairly heavily peated. The Swaldougal, something like that, I don't know. I guess they're trying to mimic Scotch Gaelic. Now this one here, so on paper this should be the one that I like the best. Peated, ex-bourbon, Virgin American and Portuguese red wine STR casks. Lovely jubbly. It's also the lightest in colour, but that appeals to me. I like that, but even still, it's got a nice golden honey look to it. I genuinely, I can't even smell it yet. I'm giving myself a minute. Oh, lovely peat. Can you believe I didn't like peat at the start of this channel? Madness. I mean, that smells pretty good. But it does smell like very Scotch-like. I will say that. So there's nothing here today, apart from that weird peanut tasting note, there's nothing here today that would make me go, this isn't Scotch. This would easily fool people in a blind tasting, for sure. That is glorious. Oh. Just you know, just excuse me a moment while I have a minute with this. It's got, yeah, this has got everything I love about peat. It's very Kildara-esque, I will say that. So it's not, it doesn't go big on any particular one flavour. So it's not overly briny, it's not overly medicinal, it's not overly peaty, it's not overly smoky. Very well rounded. Just the right amount of smoke and peat. Obviously, if you don't like peat, you're not going to like this. The STR cask isn't making itself too well known. And neither is the ex-bourbon or the new oak. So, again, I mean, that's what I will say about this. This is extremely well put together, extremely well bonded, married, whatever you want to say. Okay, I mean, for me, that's the clear winner. Now, we are going to struggle to go back through these while I've now had some peat in my mouth. That's why I left it till last. But what I am going to do is quick fire these and see if I can put them in some sort of order for you. Yeah, I like that. I'm doing them in the same order, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so, oh shit. Right, I'm going to move these in order. So there was that one, then that one, then that one. Can it be that way round? Yeah, it's got to be that way round. Okay, so in order of my preference then, the peated one wins. You know, that's ticking all the boxes inside my brain, that is. Now, this is going to surprise a lot of you. My second favourite then was the completely sherried one. This was the Cafnut Arven, Oloroso and PX casks. Third was the single cask series red wine, the St. Marley. Fourth was the Anne Loy, which was the first one we had. And last was the Kildara, which was the triple distilled, which, to be honest with you, I would have expected that to be the way it was. I wouldn't have expected the full sherry to come second, though. I would have expected that to come, well, maybe third, to be fair. And probably, as my mood changed, that would change. The STR cask was very interesting. Quality. A lot of food for thought there, because one of the things, going back to what I said at the start, where there's an opportunity here, I do get to pick cask types and marriages and things like that, so it might not even be something like this, but based on this, I think it's probably going to be something peaty, but we'll see. Okay, let me know what you think about this. If you found it interesting, hopefully you have, because that's been a bit of an eye-opener to me, to be fair. Very interesting stuff. Hopefully you've been interested enough to go and buy a sample pack of this. I don't get any commission on that or anything like that, by the way, so feel free, but it would fill my heart with joy if somebody was tasting along while I was doing that kind of video. But yeah, brilliant. Thanks for watching. It's been a bit of a longer one, so let me know if you've stuck along with it. Let me know if you're interested in this brand. Please do follow along with them, because I think that they're going to start making waves in the UK pretty soon, which is pretty good. So I'm glad to have brought them to you. But yeah, I'll see you again on more videos coming soon. Cheers.